From high fines to jail time, some advocates in Texas say we overly punish people who commit nonviolent crimes. This week, a coalition of groups, criminal justice reformers and pro-business advocates alike, called for change.
Keeping people who don't need to be behind bars locked up, by preventing people from getting drug treatment that they may need, preventing people from getting licenses that they should be able to obtain. Those things are very, very important to the economic future of Texas, not just the public safety of Texas.
And one of the groups pushing for change is the Criminal Justice Coalition. The executive director, Ana Correa, is here to help us understand what is being proposed leading into this 2015 legislative session. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So first, help us better understand the coalition and who it's made up of.
The coalition is representative of the wide consensus that Texas has got to reform its criminal justice system to increase public safety, save money, and strengthen communities. And they include the Texas Association of Business, the Texas Public Policy Foundation, Goodwill Industries, ACLU, us. It's a broad coalition with different ideologies, but going towards the same goal.
So what do you guys think the problems are right now with the criminal justice system and what needs to change?
Well, first of all, we have 3 specific strategies that we're hoping are actually going to pass this session. The first one is that we have to stop over-criminalizing our children. Right now, we are criminalizing behavior that is not deemed criminal. It shouldn't be criminal to miss school. You want kids to be in school. You don't want to take them out of school by punishing them for them not being in school. So it's common sense policies that we're looking at. That's on the youth side. On the adult side, we know that we're incarcerating millions, we're wasting millions of dollars every single year on incarcerating nonviolent, non-sex related offenders. These are individuals, like my friend Vikram stated, that have substance abuse problems, mental health problems, dual diagnosis, people that can be better served in the community more effectively and at a, at less money. So what we want to do is we want to right-size the system, and that means identifying proposals that safely reduce the number of people ending up in prison and making sure that they get the resources necessary to get on the right path. And then lastly, we want them to have tools to live responsibly. If you have a conviction, even if you just have an arrest, it's almost impossible for you to get housing. How are you gonna get ahead without the basic things that you need? You need to have a driver's license. You need to have housing. You need to be able to work. And this is not just important for the individual, but it's important for the community. 50,000 children in Texas have parents that have been in prison, for example. Who's going to pay for child support? Who's going to pay for victim restitution? How are they going to manage to live responsibly if they cannot have the tools to do so?
So let's go back and review some of the things that you just mentioned. The first thing you talked about was children, over-criminalizing children. This came up last legislative session. I've covered stories on student ticketing, kids ending up in court not just for skipping class, but also disrupting class and other things. So what more do you guys want to see?
Well, right now we are looking at decriminalizing the failure to attend school. The other things that we're looking at status offenses. So right now our children are being incarcerated for things that are not deemed criminal. So if, for example, a child runs away, that should not be a criminal act. That should be a warning sign that something is going on in the home front, perhaps, that child needs assistance. And so Texas's historic approach has been, if you break the rules, you're going to get punished. What we want is for a child to be treated with dignity and respect and love and appreciation without traumatizing that child. So why are we criminalizing behavior that's not even deemed criminal if they were adults? So those are the type of policies we're looking at.
Okay, another one of the things that you guys are talking about are probation incentives. Explain that to me.
You bet. So a lot of people think that probation is a cakewalk, and it's not. Let me tell you, I mean, the terms are long, they're hard. You have to be held responsible, you have to take drug tests, you have to pay the fines, you have to, there's a lot of conditions, and they're not standard throughout the state. So of course a lot of people, when it gets down to the sentencing phase, they're like, well, probation, it's too hard, just go ahead and send me to the state jail, for example. After they're done with the state jail, they don't have any supervision, which is why, or assistance or any aftercare. So then they come back again to the state jail. So what we want to do is we want to incentivize probation, because at least in probation they can get meaningful supervision, they can get assistance if they have substance abuse or mental health problems, they can get help in terms of employment, and it's $3 a day to the to the taxpayer instead of $50 a day locking them up. So one of the proposals that we're going for is that if you do really good on probation, and if the probation, if the DA agrees and the probation and the judge agrees, then your felony in probation can become a misdemeanor.
Okay.
So if you do really good, then it incentivizes, positive behavior. And this bill made it really far last session. I mean, it actually was going to be law, but you had a couple of people that are no longer coming back at the legislature that were just not feeling comfortable with that. And so the governor vetoed that bill. But we have a lot of support for things like that are going to happen this session.
Okay, got it. Anna, we are out of time, unfortunately, but I know a lot of your plans are very detailed. There's a lot of bullet points to it. We're going to have that on our website at KXAN.com for you. And thank you for watching State of Texas In Depth. Join us